Hello, and welcome to something a little different. I have recently just finished Danganronpa 3 Chapter 1, and normally I would write down my thoughts and feelings in the Discord. But I feel there's a bit too much to really go over for a Discord essay, and it would be better to do it in a video form. So, I want to talk to you about my Danganronpa Chapter 1 theories, and let's start at the main point of this, at the beginning of her end, which is I think Kaede is not only alive, but potentially the mastermind. So let's start. At her execution, Kaede is grabbed by the neck, flung up into the air. Point one, this would kill her. This would snap her neck. Let's say she survives. She then gets put down onto this piano keyboard and is bounced around at increased speed as the song continues to build up tempo. This would also snap her neck and kill her. But at the very end of the song, the piano keyboard, the piano case slams down on top of Kaede. And if this was all that happened, I wouldn't have thought twice. I wouldn't have even came up with this theory. But that's not all that happens. Monodam, who is continuously bullied by Mono Kid during the entire first chapter, Monodam pushes Mono Kid in front of the piano, so that Mono Kid, as well as Kaede, gets slammed by the piano. Now, this is instantaneously odd. There was only one other time that two people end up being executed together, and that is when Usami is her name, or whatever the Pink Rabbit one is from Danganronpa 2, is executed alongside Shiaki. And that's because they're effectively the same. They're part of the game modes that they're operating in at that point. So Mono Kid and Kaede being executed together seems a bit weird. But also, what could have happened here? At the point that Kaede is flung up into the air, there could be a body switch. You know, they swapped the person there. They could have had Mono Kid being actually pushed in front of Kaede and either like landing on top of her so she doesn't get squished by the spikes, that maybe she's actually alive, or just pushed out completely at the speed that Monodam's pushing her at. I think there's a lot of things that could have happened here. And my chat would then go and say, well, Jelly, the blood. The blood. We don't know what is on the inside of Monokid. We only see his head and we don't see the insides of his head. We don't know if there's actual robot mechanical parts in there. We just see that his head has blood on it. Is it too far of a stretch to suggest that Mono Kid was actually filled with blood, so that when Mono Kid died, blood came out? This would suggest that instead of Kaede being dead, Mono Kid is being used as a substitute. Now, in the next chapter, we could see another Mono child being murdered in the execution by Monodam, or just another one also being thrown in there. But I think it's very interesting. I think there's a very real possibility that either two things are happening here. Monodam is working with the quote-unquote traitor of this game to save Kaede, or just to get rid of the little Mono children one at a time. Or I think that Kaede was actually the mastermind, has planned this entire thing so that when Mono Kid dies and blood comes out, we get to then believe that Kaede died. Now, this can seem like a bit of a stretch, and I don't blame any of you for going, Jenny, what on earth are you talking about? This is not another dead blonde girl that you're claiming to be the mastermind, is it? And yes, it is. But let's talk about some different things. For example, her crime. Her crime was very, very reliant on luck. Like, extremely reliant. I think the only possible ways that this wasn't, well, it's either reliant on hard luck, Rantaro being the ultimate question mark, question mark, question mark, and there's typically an ultimate luck in all these games. There's not so far in Danganronpa 3. Maybe Rantaro is the ultimate bad luck, and he just happened to fall or stand in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, maybe he was targeted because the memory thing didn't work on him because he had such bad luck. Maybe. But Kaede's crime was ultimately reliant on luck. Reliant on the fact that nobody saw, that Suichi didn't see her pick up the shot put. Reliant on the fact that Mew's cameras would have the flash feature still enabled on them because she didn't know how it was going to operate. And Suichi did personally say, there is a flash feature, but we don't need it. So if Mew had just turned it off and disabled it so that Kaede couldn't turn it on, she would have been lost. She relied on the fact that Rantaro would stand in the right place at the right time and actually be drawn. If a flash goes off and you're opening a door that you don't know where it goes, wouldn't you be looking around first? Wouldn't you be questioning, going, "Oh, is there something here?" Or if a flash takes place and you're opening the door, would you make sure that no one else is watching you, or would you then go and investigate the camera straight away? It just seems very, very odd and very, very coincidental that everything happened according to Kaede's plan. I mean, obviously, other than exposing the traitor, or sorry, the mastermind. So maybe she had outside help, or maybe it was coordinated in a different way than what we already know. So let's talk about some meta themes first, which is in every single in both Danganronpa 1 and Danganronpa 2, somebody always comes back to life. Kind of. In Danganronpa 1, Junko is the first to die. Obviously, we're led to believe it's Junko for the entirety of the game, until it's revealed that it's not Junko, and Junko is actually the mastermind pulling the strings and has been alive the entire time. Junko, therefore, has effectively, in our eyes, come back to life. In Danganronpa 2, it's Nekomaru, who gets murdered by Monokuma, and obviously, the mastermind can't directly kill somebody, so is brought back to life by Nekomaru. So, in this sense, we have two characters come back to life. The only two characters we know so far who have died are Rantaro and Kaede. They have the highest potential, therefore, to me, to being the characters brought back to life. The other thing is, how does the game consistently make something new and interesting that makes you completely double take and go, hold on, how on earth? How, in other words to say, how does the game jump the shark? And in the previous game, we had the fact that it's all a game. That's jumping the shark in one aspect. We had the fact that we're playing as versions of ourselves from 3 years ago, before we joined Hope's Peak. That's jumping the shark. We had the fact that the character that we're playing as was the mastermind all along. That's jumping the shark. So, how does this game continue to do that? How does this game make it so that we're never able to predict what's going on? That it's a roller coaster? Oh, making Kaede the mastermind would be doing that. Making her come back to life would be a way to jump the shark. I think it's entirely possible. But so far, all I'm saying is that Kaede might be alive, and that she required luck to get to where she was. What's my evidence really so far that she could be the mastermind? One thing I've learned from the previous games is that when there's a troublemaker, the troublemaker tends to be one of the smartest people in the room. Both Byakuya and Nagato seem to be incredibly smart when needed to be. Byakuya being one of the probably 3 or 4 characters, in fact, probably one of the 3 characters you could rely on in Danganronpa 1 to actually be smart about the majority of things. In Danganronpa 2, this is Nagato, who again is one of the 2 or 3 people that you can rely on in trials to get things going and get things moving. So, who is the troublemaker of this game? Well, that's quite obviously Kokichi. Kokichi being the evil leader that he is. Why do I bring this up? Well, there's a very clear animosity between Kokichi and Kaede. Unlike with a lot of the other characters, Kokichi is at least pretending and lying and trying to be a good person. He openly turns around to Kaede and says, "No, we're not friends. What makes you think that I'm friends with you?" If that was it, I would have left this and just not included it. There's obviously a bit more. And this is the escape tunnel. The escape tunnel from the very beginning. Where all 16 of the characters will go in and try to get to the end, because there is freedom promised at the very end of this tunnel. But it is such an impossible task that you can never really get down there and get through it. And if you were a normal person, you would probably attempt this 2 or 3 times and get the message. It's impossible. We don't know how many times they actually go through it, but who is it that keeps pushing them to go through this tunnel? Well, it's Kaede. Well, that just seems like Kaede, doesn't it? It's a character who is so determined to get hope and to save everyone and be such a good person that she doesn't even realize she's harming everyone else by trying to get to the end, because she sees the end goal, the freedom, the getting the mastermind, and that's what she strives for. It really does cement Kaede's motivation for her crime. Providing that's what Kaede is doing there. You see, why did Monokuma build this escape tunnel? He's never built that in one of the previous games. He's never even offered the chance of escape. Yet this Monokuma seems overly generous. We'll get to the motive in a bit. He's very overly generous by offering this escape route. So, why has he done this? Well, he's offering them the chance of escape by repeated punishment and trial and error. You will get to the end and you'll be free, but you will suffer and suffer and suffer and suffer until you get there. But the likely chance is that you're never actually going to get there. He is providing hope and slowly taking it away without actually taking it away. He's letting them destroy their own hope. A normal character, as I said, would do this once or twice and then go, right, this is impossible. We'll only do it whenever we feel like it. But Kaede, as Kokichi points out, Kaede strong arms them and says, no, we've got to do it. We've got to keep doing it. We've all got to do this together. We've all got to do it for the best chance of all of us getting out of here. We've all got to do it. And by constantly doing that, Kokichi points out that she is forcing them. She's using good intentions and good methods to do it, but she is strong-arming them. And who would be the best person to understand that kind of motive and that kind of attitude and way of doing it? Kokichi himself, because he is a supreme evil leader. He is an expert liar. And he's a notorious troublemaker. He's going to know right off the bat that that's what Kokichi's doing. Kaede's doing, sorry. Or at least recognize that she is strong-arming them, as he points out. What is it that Kaede then does for the rest of the time that she's alive? By using good intentions, she then strong-arms everyone into going after the Mastermind, even after killing one of their fellow students. And instead of turning around and going, right, I did kill Rantaro, I thought he was the Mastermind. Obviously, he's not the Mastermind at this point because the game's still going. I'm going to then go and be free so that I can try and get help for everyone. She then forces them to suffer through the trial, to then watch her get executed, to then suffer even more so that her hope, her belief can still live on as Kaede's wish, which is a repeated theme in Chapter 2. It seems very much like Kaede is torturing them for her own goals in a very selfish way that is masked in good intentions. And this is the exact same kind of behavior that Monokuma has presented in the escape room. Which is why I feel that Monokuma and Kaede are very similar, and if not, Kaede is the Mastermind. I want to quickly talk about some other things quickly to back this up. Rantaro could also be alive, and I think Rantaro is alive because the Mastermind can't directly kill another student and then go to a trial. I think this might be the reason that... Well, I'll come back to the motive in a second, but Rantaro could still be alive in some aspects. I mean, how did he know the door was there? Why did he actually know? Did he just, did somebody open the door for him? Could the door be the hidden room? Could the door be opened by remote control? Kaede could have potentially heard somebody in the library through the vent, moving about. And by hearing somebody move about, she then remote operated the door to open, which led him to walk up to it and then see the flash, and that would be the thing to lure him over there because all of this is new to him. He isn't, aware of this. This would explain why the powder wasn't moved, but the door was still opened. Also, let's talk about Rantaro's plan. Ryuma openly says, look, I am expecting to die here. I think I should die here. I want to die here. If it gives everyone the best opportunity to survive, whoever kills me can then go out and try and find some help. Rantaro stops Ryuma's plan, and logically, Ryuma's plan is the best, because Rantaro doesn't share his plan. But by rejecting Ryuma's sacrifice that would have given them the best chance, he opens up his own murder. Which is weird. He's also the ultimate question mark, and I've alluded to the idea that he could be the ultimate bad luck. But based on the fact that I know that there's a scene which you can have as Kaede with Rantaro, when you give him the nail brush as a gift, I believe, it's likely he's the ultimate beautician. And the other thing is that he knew about the ultimate hunt, but didn't tell anyone else and didn't do anything. And we know that the other students, after finding the torch in chapter 2, also know about the ultimate hunt. So why didn't it affect him in the same way? At least the amnesia thing affect him in the same way. I also want to talk about the motive. And this is the other thing that links Kaede, I think, to Monokuma. Why on earth did Monokuma give the First Blood Perk as a motive? It's a free kill. I mean, if by Monokuma's idea, by getting somebody's kill, you set off the chain of killing, well, it doesn't make sense for the rest of the game. Because who would kill second in that scenario? If you know that Monokuma is going to offer you total freedom as a potential motive, if the next motive is, look, I won't, I will reveal a secret from all of you, like it was in Danganronpa 1 Chapter 2. I'm sorry, who would kill for a secret compared to kill to absolute freedom? It just seems like a really awful idea if you want to make this long term. Unless it wasn't used as a motive to begin with, but used as an alibi. For a mastermind to be able to take all suspicion of themselves by being either the person killed or the killer, or both. Maybe they're both, mastermind or traitor mastermind or whatnot. But Kaede's wish becoming a repeated theme in, chapter 2. Who would suspect Kaede of being the mastermind, other than a complete nutter like me? It provides them with the goal to continue to risk their lives for, to continue playing the game, to fulfill Kaede's wish of finding the mastermind. And what would fill them with the greatest despair? Watching all their friends slowly get murdered in order to try and find the truth. In order to then find out at the very end that the person who set them on this mission is the person who's actually the one trapping them and keeping them there. It is effectively the escape tunnel. At the end of it, you might find the light of the mastermind, but the more you continue on, and the more you torture yourselves, you're going to fall into despair. Kaede is set up as this kind of supporting character for the entire game, where simply her existence is that support. Like Shiaki, when Shiaki dies at the end of chapter 5, is Hajime's reason to change his mind and act differently. But I feel like because Shiaki was such a popular character, Kaede is going to be the reverse of that. She's set up to die very early on to give you that hope and support, but she would then turn to be the mastermind at the very end to take all that away. There's also the possibility that Rantaro is, the mastermind, and that's why he set this all off. He being killed first would make him not suspicious in the slightest. He could have known about Kaede's plan to try and kill him and be playing off that, and then using Kaede's wish to really keep it going. In the same way, he then leads them to basically follow her sacrifice and to go down that route. And by making it so that Ryuma isn't the one who gets killed, but is actually himself, he stops other people from going free in that sense. And it gives the best chance that the First Blood Perk isn't going to be exploited by one of the survivors and is actually going to be used by Rantaro or Kaede. So, Mastermind and Traitors, I think my gut is telling me that Kaede is the mastermind. She acts similar to Monokuma in a lot of the ways that she behaves, and she's the perfect character for that shock factor. And a couple of coincidences Junko was the first that was dead. That was a shock that she ended up being the mastermind. Hajime was a character that we were playing as, and that turned out to be a shock when he was the mastermind. Kaede is literally both of those combined. She's one of the first dead in the first chapter, yet is also a character that we played as. It's literally both of them. Maybe that's the mastermind right there. And also symbolism. Kaede was the ultimate pianist. What does Kaede do as the ultimate pianist? She manages to create a beautiful orchestrated melody by playing with black and white. What else in the game is black and white? Maybe she's playing Monokuma behind the scenes to create the orchestrated masterpiece that is the Killing Game. Rantaro, the best thing I can kind of think of is that Rantaro might be in on it. He's in the perfect position to allow the crime to take place. He kept everyone going instead of going through Ryoma's plan, so that Kaede could sell her story with his plan. He opened the door, potentially, but didn't use it. So how did he know that was there? And he remembers the hunt, but not his ability. Maybe this is his way of testing the machine works by saying, "Oh, you will definitely know about this, but do you know about this? No, none of you remember it? Perfect." And if him saying it means that nobody thinks it's the mastermind who's really talking about this. So Rantaro seems to be the traitor, but not like Oga and Shiaki. I think we've got a bit too comfortable with the idea that the traitor is actually working against Monokuma. I feel like he's either going to be a Nagato who dies and stays dead for basically his ideal and what he wants to see, or he's going to still be alive and then have a change of heart at the very end. Finally, it's not really main theory, but just something else to talk about is Maki and Himiko, and I spent a lot of time with both of these characters. They're my favourite so far. But I feel that Maki isn't the ultimate child caregiver. I've given her a lot of attention, but she doesn't seem to know why she has that title. Her talent room is like a crimson velvety kind of red, but still has that picture of a baby. I just feel like she has a different title. And it might be a coincidence, but every game so far has technically a serial killer. In Danganronpa 1, it's Toko. In Danganronpa 2, Peko is a serial killer, but not by ultimate ability. And it is a huge coincidence. But those serial killers have a theme. Toko and Peko have a similar naming structure. A consonant, a vowel, the letter K, and then a vowel. T-O-K-O, Toko. P-E-K-O, Peko. Consonant, vowel, or consonant, vowel, K, vowel, sorry. M-A-K-I, Maki. Coincidence, maybe, but I really want that to be a thing, and I feel like it's given us enough hints that her ability isn't the ultimate caregiver. Chapter 2 might be the bit that we find out what her ultimate title is. And both serial killers were revealed to be serial killers in Chapter 2. I think that's going to be a thing going forward. And finally, last little thing is that I feel that Himiko can actually use magic. We always have a character in the games that seems to be able to do something beyond human comprehension. Hero in the first game has mysticism and can basically predict like every 6 things is like an actual prediction, which means that he's unreliable to the nth degree. Gundam claimed to be able to use magic, and I think this is just an effect of his Genibio state, but at least he claims to. But I feel Himiko can actually do something. Unfortunately, I feel that because it's such a insane thing like magic, and the way that Hero was kind of said, oh yeah, he does actually have the ability, but it's just so like weakened. I feel that Himiko would either be revealed to be able to use very, very mundane magic, like literally just like I can produce like a drop of water, or I can blow out a candle from across the room, or something like that. But this magic would be revealed either in a very mundane way, where it's completely irrelevant, in a victim way, where she's about to be killed and she tries to use magic to save herself, and it's maybe the way that we catch the killer. Or she uses it in a killer way. For example, blowing out a candle from across the room or in another room would take the suspicion off her for being, the killer. But either way, if she's using it to be killed or as a killer, I feel that Himiko is destined to die. But with that being said, that's half an hour of me talking about Chapter 1 theories. I think you can see why I couldn't put this all down in a actual, essay thing for Discord. And I'll leave it there. Hold me to account if any of these are right or wrong. Leave comments in the description if you think that you can add or take away from any of these theories. And with that, we should be live on Twitch to do some more Danganronpa 3 this weekend, hopefully. So join us then, and we'll try and get through Danganronpa Chapter 2. With that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.